respect people as full human beings, and that's how we should treat immigrants, and that's how we should treat each other, and we should tell the truth about the past and repair the past so we can move forward.
This will be the last question.
Hey Tom, I'm Jamie. I was just wondering, before you talked about how you want to get people out to vote, I think it's really hard for a lot of people to vote, those that have served their jail time and are not allowed to vote. What are you going to do for them?
So Jamie, let me say this. I think what you're saying is that in a lot of states, previously incarcerated people lose their voting rights forever. So let me say this, it's not what I'm going to do, it's what I've done. Look, I started one of the biggest grassroots organizations in the United States called NextGen. And one of the things that we did in 2018 was work like crazy in Florida to make sure that formerly incarcerated people had their voting rights restored to them, and it passed. And let me say, but let's just say in terms of our criminal justice system, it's impossible to look at our criminal justice system and not realize that it has racial injustice from the first second to the last second, from the way we police, to the way we sentence, to the way we treat people who are incarcerated, to the way we treat people who have been incarcerated. And I was saying, that's an obvious thing. I have worked to end, just so you guys know, and we ended it, cash bail in California. Because cash bail says you go to jail without ever being convicted of a crime if you don't have enough money to make bail. It never uses the word race. It has gigantic racial overtones in terms of who ends up spending time in jail and what that means to your family and your work, and also to whether you plead out. Because by the time you've spent 6 or 8 months in jail and that's counted as time served, it's a completely different question, and now you have a felony on your record. So there's racial injustice from beginning to end, and unless we talk about it and deal with it, we never solve it. People are scared to talk about race in our society. But my feeling is, when did you ever solve a problem you were too scared to talk about? If you're so scared to talk about it, then it creates more power because it's so scary you won't even talk about it. And we can't do that. I think if this is our time to turn out the most corrupt president in American history, and this is our time to take on the biggest challenge in history, which is to solve the climate crisis and save the world, then isn't this also the time for us to be brave enough to talk openly about injustice and racial injustice in our society, openly deal with it, repair it, and move on? Isn't that what this country is supposed to be doing?